Welcome to our channel Inspirational People. Today we are back with another exciting video. In the quiet town of Porbandar, nestled along India's western coast, a child was born, who would one day change the course of history not through war or wealth, but through unwavering truth and boundless compassion. This was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, later revered as Mahatma, Great Soul. His journey from a timid boy afraid of ghosts to the fearless leader of a nation was marked by profound transformation. Gandhi was not born extraordinary. He stumbled, fell, failed, and rose each time with greater conviction. He battled self-doubt, wrestled with injustice, and sacrificed comfort and family for a cause greater than himself. At a time when the world was grappling with violent revolutions and global wars, Gandhi introduced a different kind of resistance, Satyagraha, the power of truth. He believed that one individual, armed with love and determination, could confront empires without lifting a weapon. Through non-violent civil disobedience, he defied the British Raj and inspired millions to reclaim their dignity, identity, and land. But his influence did not end at India's borders. From Martin Luther King Jr. in America to Nelson Mandela in South Africa, leaders across continents drew strength from his methods. His message transcended religion, race, and nationality. This story dives into the soul of the man who walked barefoot yet stood tall before tyrants. A man whose spinning wheel spun threads of freedom. A man who fasted not to weaken others but to awaken their conscience. A man who reminded us that true strength lies not in conquering others, but in mastering oneself. This is the journey of Mahatma Gandhi, a life that shook empires, stirred hearts, and left behind a legacy of peace in a world still learning to listen. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born on October 2, 1869, in the small princely state of Porbandar in Gujarat. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, was the Diwan, chief minister, of the state, and his mother, Putlibai, was a deeply religious woman. From her, Gandhi inherited his strong moral compass, devotion, and belief in austerity and service. As a child, Gandhi was shy and introverted. He avoided games and preferred books, although he was an average student. However, his early life was filled with moral lessons. A pivotal moment came when, after stealing from his brother to buy cigarettes, Gandhi confessed in a heartfelt note to his father. Instead of punishing him, his father wept silently. That moment stayed with Gandhi forever. It taught him the power of truth and forgiveness. At the age of 13, Gandhi was married to Kasturba in a traditional child marriage. Their relationship evolved through conflicts and compromise. While young Gandhi was possessive and demanding, Kasturba was strong-willed and principled. Over time, she became his moral partner and companion in all his public campaigns. Gandhi's early experiments with truth, diet, and religion set the foundation for the ideals he would later develop. He read Hindu scriptures, was fascinated by the story of Shravana and Harishchandra, and developed an early inclination towards vegetarianism and renunciation. In 1888, Gandhi traveled to England to study law at the Inner Temple. Determined to succeed, he made a solemn promise to his mother not to touch meat, wine, or women, a vow he kept. In England, Gandhi initially struggled with homesickness and cultural shock. To fit in, he tried adopting English manners, attire, and social customs. But soon, he realized the emptiness of such pursuits. Instead, he embraced a disciplined lifestyle, focused on studies, and immersed himself in reading religious and philosophical texts. It was in England that Gandhi first read the Bhagavad Gita in English. Its teachings on selfless action and spiritual discipline resonated deeply with him. He also read the Bible, Quran, and works by Western thinkers such as Leo Tolstoy, Henry David Thoreau, and John Ruskin. These readings planted the seeds of his future ideology. Ruskin's Unto This Last inspired his economic ideas, Thoreau's civil disobedience influenced his resistance strategies, and Tolstoy's The Kingdom of God is Within You affirmed his belief in nonviolence and spiritual living. Despite facing prejudice and loneliness, Gandhi completed his studies and was called to the bar in 1891. He returned to India, hoping to build a successful legal career. But fate had different plans. In 1893, Gandhi accepted a one-year legal assignment in South Africa. Little did he know that the next 21 years would transform him into a political leader and a moral crusader. Just days after arriving, Gandhi experienced his first taste of racial discrimination. He was thrown off a train at Pietermaritzburg for refusing to leave a first-class compartment, despite holding a valid ticket. That night, shivering in a waiting room, Gandhi made a decision: he would fight injustice, not with hatred, but with truth and courage. He began organizing the Indian community in South Africa, who were facing systemic discrimination. In 1894, he founded the Natal Indian Congress and began a campaign against unjust laws. It was during this time that Gandhi coined the term Satyagraha, meaning truth force or soul force. It became the cornerstone of his philosophy, the idea that nonviolent resistance, rooted in truth and love, was stronger than any weapon. He led many peaceful protests, faced imprisonment, and launched social initiatives like the Phoenix Settlement and Tolstoy Farm, where followers lived communally, practiced simplicity, and trained in Satyagraha. One of his most significant victories came in 1914 when the South African government agreed to abolish the registration law for Indians. Gandhi returned to India, hailed as a hero, bringing with him the experience, ideology, and courage that would shape a nation's destiny. Returning to India in 1915, Gandhi was warmly welcomed by leaders like Gopal Krishna Gokhale. But instead of jumping into politics, he traveled extensively, observing the poverty and suffering of the masses. His first major political action came in 1917, with the Champaran Satyagraha in Bihar. Indigo farmers were being exploited by British planters. Gandhi organized a fact-finding mission, mobilized the peasants, and used non-violent protest to pressure the authorities. Eventually, the exploitative system was abolished. He repeated this success in Kedah, where peasants were unable to pay taxes due to crop failure. Gandhi's leadership forced the British to suspend tax collections. In 1919, the British passed the Rowlatt Act, allowing arrests without trial. Gandhi called for a nationwide strike. On April 13, 1919, British troops massacred over 1,000 unarmed civilians in Jallianwala Bagh, Amritsar. The event shocked the nation and hardened Gandhi's resolve. He launched the non-cooperation movement in 1920, urging Indians to boycott British institutions, titles, goods, and schools. It was a massive success, but when a mob killed police officers in Chauri Chaura, Gandhi called off the movement. He believed that freedom built on violence was hollow. Despite criticism, Gandhi's moral leadership inspired millions. He now turned inward, promoting khadi, homespun cloth, village industries, and education. He also intensified his campaign against untouchability, renaming Dalits as Harijans and advocating their temple entry and dignity. In 1930, Gandhi launched the Salt March, one of the most iconic acts of defiance. To protest the British salt monopoly, he marched 240 miles from Sabarmati to Dandi and made salt from seawater. This simple act electrified the nation and triggered a mass civil disobedience movement. People across India broke laws, refused to pay taxes, boycotted British goods, and faced brutal repression. Gandhi was arrested, but his message was clear: India would no longer accept foreign rule. He was invited to the Second Round Table Conference in London, where he represented the Indian National Congress. Though the talks failed, Gandhi's moral authority impressed the world. He returned to find the movement weakened, yet he persevered. Through the 1930s, Gandhi continued campaigns for social reform and unity. He fasted multiple times to protect the rights of Dalits, particularly during the Pune Pact negotiations. World War II provided a new context for India's struggle. Gandhi opposed Indian participation without independence and launched the Quit India movement in 1942, calling for immediate British withdrawal. His message was uncompromising: do or die. The British responded with mass arrests. Gandhi, along with Congress leaders, was imprisoned. During this time, his health deteriorated, and Kasturba passed away in prison in 1944. Gandhi was devastated but remained resolute. The war ended in 1945. Faced with mounting pressure and a tired economy, the British agreed to negotiate. But communal tensions between Hindus and Muslims were escalating. Gandhi opposed partition and tried to unite the communities through fasts and peace missions. Despite his efforts, India was partitioned in 1947, leading to horrific violence. Gandhi traveled to the worst-hit areas, risking his life to stop riots and protect minorities. India gained independence on August 15, 1947. But Gandhi did not join the celebrations. He was in Bengal, fasting to stop Hindu-Muslim violence. Though India had achieved its long-sought independence, Mahatma Gandhi was deeply pained. The country was torn apart by the horrors of partition. Communal riots had erupted across Punjab, Bengal, and Delhi. Hindus and Muslims who had lived together for centuries now saw each other as enemies. Gandhi, heartbroken, took it upon himself to be a messenger of peace. At 78, his body was frail, but his spirit was indomitable. He moved from city to city, village to village, fasting, praying, pleading for harmony. In Delhi, he was staying at Birla House, continuing his daily prayer meetings and refusing special security, believing that not a leaf moves but by the will of God. On January 30, 1948, at 5:17 p.m., Gandhi stepped out of Birla House, supported by his grandnieces Manu and Obo. He was heading toward the garden where hundreds had gathered for his evening prayer meeting. As he walked through the crowd, a man named Nathram Godse, dressed in a khaki coat, stepped forward. He bowed to Gandhi. As Gandhi raised his hand in blessing, Godse drew a pistol and fired 3 shots at point-blank range. Gandhi collapsed. His last words, barely whispered, were, "Hey Ram," a call to God. News spread like wildfire. The nation fell silent. Streets flooded with weeping citizens. People from all religions, castes, and regions grieved as if a father had died. Jawaharlal Nehru, India's Prime Minister, appeared on the radio. "The light has gone out of our lives, and there is darkness everywhere." Across the globe, leaders and ordinary people alike mourned. Flags were flown at half-mast. Messages poured in from the White House to the Kremlin. Einstein wrote, "Generations to come will scarce believe that such a one as this ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth." On January 31, Gandhi's body was placed on an open military truck, adorned with flowers. The procession from Birla House to the Raj Ghat cremation grounds was over 8 kilometers long. Over 2 million people lined the streets. People walked barefoot, weeping, singing bhajans, or silently praying. It was a procession of every class, caste, and creed. The air was thick with sorrow. Some shouted his name. Others simply cried. At Raj Ghat, as the sun began to set, Gandhi's body was laid on a sandalwood pyre. His son lit the fire as millions watched in silence. The flames rose, taking the physical form of a man who had embodied peace, justice, and truth. His ashes were collected in urns and sent across India, immersed in sacred rivers. Some were even sent abroad, as symbols of his message that belonged not just to India, but to all humanity. Gandhi's influence is immortal. His methods inspired global icons like Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and Cesar Chavez. His birthday is observed worldwide as the International Day of Nonviolence. In India, he is revered as the father of the nation. His face graces currency, his name lives in cities and institutions, and his teachings echo in schools and homes. But Gandhi's true legacy lies in his message, that truth, love, and nonviolence are more powerful than armies, that real change begins within, and that the human spirit, when guided by compassion, can overcome any tyranny. His life is a call to all. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi's journey, from a shy boy in Porbandar to the beacon of global peace, remains one of the most extraordinary sagas of the modern era. His path was not easy. He faced ridicule, prison, betrayal, and death threats. But he never abandoned his faith in nonviolence, truth, and the goodness of humanity. Today, in a world often torn by violence, injustice, and division, Gandhi's life reminds us of the power of humility, the strength of the soul, and the victory of peace over power. He lived simply, but his influence is eternal. His voice was gentle, but it awakened millions. His life was brief, but his legacy is boundless. Mahatma Gandhi, the light of truth that still burns bright. That's the inspirational story of Mahatma Gandhi. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Inspirational People to help us make more videos like this.